the gambling community saw it and they said, wait a minute, what's going on with here? We went from a 100% losing a deduction down to 90%, and that got a lot of people up in arms and who really took it upon themselves to say, okay, we need to make a correction here. It was Representative Titus of Nevada saying that no one should have to pay taxes on phantom income. And now that Fair Bet Act is getting a lot of bipartisan support, and I want to bring in Congresswoman Titus right now. Thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Great to have you on, and congratulations on getting this bipartisan support.
Well, it's interesting, this bill passed out of the House. It didn't have that provision in there. Went to the Senate, they put it in, sent it back to the House. I was going to amend that out, and they weren't accepting any amendments, and the Republicans passed it through. Now they've had a change of heart because so many people have called and texted and tweeted about it being a bad idea that they're getting on board my bill, the Fair Bet Act, to try to just take that out of the provisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And just explain to our viewers when the wording came out from this big, beautiful bill, just how fast was your office being inundated?
Well, there's still a prejudice against gaming. So we have to look at every bill very carefully and look for the words gaming. And sometimes it's kind of hidden in there. So we found it. We put out a tweet about it. And, within days, we had 1 million responses. Now, I've never had 1 million responses. I've gone viral. Now, we've been talking about Medicaid and food stamps and renewable energy, all of those other bad things in the bill. But this is what caught people's attention.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It really did. And it really started a wave there of support. Now, why do you think or originally this was even in there to bring it down 100 to 90?
Well, they were looking everywhere they could find little pots of money to help offset their tax breaks for the wealthy. And they estimated that this would bring in $1 billion over a 9-year period if they reduced the deduction from 100% to 90%. So that was some money that they could use to offset the cost of their bill. Now, I don't think it's going to bring in $1 billion because if you don't give people that deduction, they're just going to either not claim it on their taxes or else they're going to go offshore or to the black market to bet. So I think it would be less than that. But once we called attention to it, and we're not saying it's partisan, we're not saying it's ideological, we're just saying it's not fair tax policy. You don't tax somebody on money that they don't have.
Yeah, that's so true because, I mean, it was just, you figure there were so many states that were legalizing sports books, within the last couple of years and trying to take away that market that was offshore for years and bringing it back now to the states. And then all of a sudden it seemed like, well, wait a minute. It looks like if this goes through, people are going to go back out to those offshore sites maybe.
Well, that's right. And that doesn't help the community. I mean, those offshore sites aren't paying taxes to the state. They're not, you can't regulate them. They don't contribute to problem gaming programs. They don't invest in bricks and mortar, and they don't hire people. So we don't get anything in return if that's where people are gambling. And also it protects the gambler because you can't hold those companies accountable like you can a company here in the United States or on a tribe or in the states. But it's not just sports betting. That's been the one that's gotten the focus. But all across the country in every state but 2, you can gamble. So think about it. How many people bet on a football game or play the slots on a weekend trip? It's any kind of little gambling that adds up to a certain amount over a year's period.
Yeah, no, that's really a good mention there. And I should mention, I want to get this question here to you because I think a lot of gamblers are wondering when this will ever happen. I'm talking about the threshold for hand pays. It's been $1,200 for a while now. And when do you think we'll ever see that increase?
Well, it's been $1,200 since the 1970s. I have a bill to raise it to $5,000. The IRS has even said that's reasonable and it should be linked to increases in years to come, so that's automatic. maybe we can get that passed. In the meantime, in this bill, this big, bad, beautiful bill, a lot of things were increased to 2,000. And so this got caught up in that 2,000. So at least now it's gone from 1,200 to 2,000. But we'd like to see that go to 5,000 because 2,000 didn't really make much difference.
No, no, that's true there. And wow, but big changes that were coming from this hearing today. It was neat to see the switch there, now bipartisan there from so many now that want to say, okay, let's just get this done by the end of the year.
Well, that's right. We had my co-chair of the gaming caucus, Republican from Pennsylvania, had signed on as a co-sponsor of the bill. But when you've got the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, which deals with all tax policy, committing to fixing it, that's a really big step. Now, maybe they'll pass my bill. Maybe they'll have their own bill. Maybe it'll be an amendment at the end of the year for the tax extender bills. Doesn't really matter what mechanism we use. We just need to get it done by the end of the year, because this doesn't kick in until next year's taxes.
Okay, Representative Titus, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We really appreciate all of the insight there, and congratulations there on that bipartisan support. We appreciate you talking with us here today.
Well, thank you. As this moves forward, call me back.
There we go. We will. We definitely will. Thank you again for being here.